Let me start this. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right, good. Step 1 is complete. So, as you can tell by the atmosphere, this is much more relaxed than normal GiveCamp is for kickoff. So, we're going to go through, give you some brief instructions. I think most of you know us since we were all chatting beforehand, but I'm Eric Schwartz. Everybody else wants to go around and introduce themselves. It'd probably be easier. So, and you pop up on the screen.
I'm Jason Roby.
I'm Mike Therian.
I'm David Dillon.
Matt Brewer.
I'm Tim Lewis.
Angie Roby.
Right. So we've all been around doing this for a long time. Normally we do hands of how many people been here, but we can't do that this time because it's gonna be too hard to keep track of everybody. So the other thing we always do, we always thank our sponsors. Well, because this year this basically cost us nothing. We didn't even ask for sponsorship this year, but many of our sponsors had even talked to us and stuff, and we were willing to say we don't need sponsorship. Some people donated on Eventbrite. So, but the sponsors we've had for a long time are all listed on our website. So feel free to go check them out and frequent them. We were all joking this afternoon. We felt like we should get City Barbecue this afternoon because that's what we've had every one of these after kickoff. So we didn't do that though. So we're gonna take a few minutes. We're gonna go through the projects that are not even projects really, the nonprofits that gave us things they need help with. If there's someone from that nonprofit, they can have about a minute or so. If there isn't anyone from that nonprofit, we'll go over it. And then I'm going to ask, and this is new, I thought of this a half an hour ago, the people that talk to that nonprofit to help explain what the projects are, sort of thing. Because if we divided them up from organizers here, and each one worked with different nonprofits. So first one on the list is My Fave 5. Gina, I think I saw you pop in somewhere.
Yep, I'm on.
So do you want a brief minute of what My Fave 5 is?
Sure. So last year, was very fortunate to have the team build out the My Fave 5 app. And the app is really intended to help teens select 5 adults, connect with them, get their acceptance, and have them be in their network of support. So then the app will provide them easy access to text, call, or email the adult using the phone's capabilities. So whatever device, whatever they're using, and for mail or texting, they have the capability of doing it. So we're starting to get in schools. Bishop Fenwick's using it, and we're piloting it. COVID kind of stalled things a little bit, but very excited to be back this year with you guys to help just enhance it a little bit. Not so much the app, but the back end of it for analytics and to help us with school campaigns.
So Jason, you put those cards and stuff together for that. Do you want to go over what they're looking for and what we have in the cards?
Yeah, there's really 3 things. And I think at the end of this, Angie is going to kind of take us through the Trello board and give us a tour of that. So I'm not going to pull that up, but there's 3 main things that Gina's looking for help with. One is documentation, how to get data out of the system. That's like the first level, like just get it out in Excel. She says she's an Excel wizard. So maybe she can teach some people here this weekend how to use Excel as well. But once she gets in Excel, she can do the analytics. If we can, actually, there's some analytics available in Firebase. So if you can build some dashboards or find some way to pull some of the data out to make some reports there, that would be very helpful as well. One of the other things that she would like to do is around campaign tracking. It looks like the QR code they're using, that service may allow us to do this, and it might be built into it. So there's some details on that card, but she would just like to know, hey, when people download the app, did they come from this school where I handed out this flyer with this QR code? So we need some of that. And then last but not least, I got to flip screens because I forget what the third one is. There's my board. Yeah, so the process documentation, getting data, the ability to track source. Oh, and then Gina's gotten a couple of emails from, might be the Play Store, some of Firebase, just they're like technical emails saying these actions might need to be taken. So she'd like someone to look at those and provide some guidance on those emails to see if there's something we actually need to do or not. And if there's something we could do for her this weekend, let's get it taken care of, but at least provide some guidance on them. So that's the 3 main asks that we have, I believe, right, Gina?
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So next up, we have Wise Educational. And Carmelia, I think I saw you on there.
You did. How are you?
All right.
Good. The things that we were in need of assistance with is obtaining administrative access to my WordPress site. I had someone work on it and then it's holding me hostage and I can't get back in my stuff. So we need to pull that back.
Carmelia,
Yes.
tell us what you do real quick. Give us a real elevator pitch
Oh,
on.
okay. Sorry about that. We provide educational services, and since we've been there at GiveCamp for the first time, we have blown up completely. It's unbelievable right now, especially during remote learning. So we provide tutoring, hourly tutoring services to students, and now we are also providing remote learning. So we have students that come here and do all of their academics all day long. They're dropped off as early as 7 a.m. and may be picked up as late as 6 p.m. So we're doing the learning and the extended care thereafter. And we also offer a summer enrichment program to students that provide basically the same thing, but it's our curriculum. Okay. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
All right, then go ahead. Keep on going. Keep on going. What you were going to.
All righty. Okay, so my site was held hostage. I need access back into my administrative offices through WordPress, and we're going to do that through Everleap, it's my understanding. I want to switch from authorized.net to Huntington Bank. I have all of the permissions and everything needed to do that. I took care of that earlier this week. Advise on updating the content and visuals. So I have a site that's currently been built in a sandbox, and I'd say it's 90% finished. I simply need to take content that I have updated and drop it in. And then I need a designer to make it pretty because it's looking sort of flat on the page. And that's basically it. So I have all of my content is in Microsoft Word documents, so I can forward it to whomever. They can copy paste it and rock and roll. There's a few things I need some help with learning to do, and I can share that with them one-off. That's it.
All right. So next we have Heartfelt Tidbits. I didn't see Cheryl or anyone on. So David, do you want to go over that one?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So Heartfelt Tidbits, I don't know much about them other than what it says here on the screen. So I can't really tell you much about them, but I can tell you what they were looking for. So I guess when they were there in 2018, we built a volunteer form for them in their Squarespace website, and it exports the data to a Google form, which was then in turn loaded through some kind of an Azure link into MailChimp. 2 years later, fast forward to today, Squarespace now has a direct integration with MailChimp. So the plan is to make sure that their MailChimp audience that they've set up to accept these forms is meeting the requirements for the integration, and then to alter the form in Squarespace to put the data directly into MailChimp.
All right. Next is Santa Maria, and I didn't see anyone from them on either, unless they joined after I went to this presentation mode. So Tim, can you go over that one?
Yeah, sure. So just like David, unfortunately, I don't have much background for you guys, but basically what they would like done this week. So they have an events category or page, but it's actually underneath their Get Involved section. And so they'd like the events ripped out of there and actually made it its own page instead. And then also on the events, when you scroll down on the page, they have a search bar, but right above it, it just says, sorry, no results were found. So I'm not sure why that's coming up broken or why that just is appearing like that. So wanted to get that fixed. As well as there was some CSS work for to make their links all correct, the correct color. So that's pretty much it for them.
And then we have Good Works Farm. Angie, you got that one?
Good Works Farm came to GiveCamp a few years back, and at that point they only had programs where they helped children with developmental disabilities. They provided day camps for them. They've since expanded their offerings to offer adult day camps, but they don't have materials that talk about their adult day camps. So what they're looking for is design help and creating an actual paper brochure, because a lot of their communication goes out in paper format. And so they're looking to develop a paper brochure. Nancy has been very helpful in giving she's already got lots of content. She's got lots of pictures to choose from, lots of ideas, but she needs help putting it together in a brochure that she can give out to individuals needing her services, or when she's also promoting those services to get funding.
All right. And the last one is Camp Joy. And Gunnar, I think I saw you join. Or did I not?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
No, thanks for having me, and excited to keep this great tradition going. I think it's been probably like 8 years that GiveCamp has been helping Camp Joy.
You were in the first one, Gunnar, so it's been 10 years.
Well,
10 years. Wow.
10 years, yes.
So we've got 2 awesome apps. One's called the Fossolator, and I wish, like, given this is like a Friday afternoon at 6:45, Nate here would love to be here right now. He would love to be with us. He would add some character, but I'll do my best. But we've got 2 apps. One's called the Fossolator. One's called the Identity. They were made a while back, and we need to update them to iOS and Android's most recent versions. Just a quick overview. These help kids identify fossils and trees. So rather than like a typical Google lens, it's called a dichotomous key. So the kids actually have to pick between one or 2 choices, and then once they pick between one, it's like choose your own adventure. You go down one path, and then eventually you'll get to the correct answer. So these are learning tools that kids, primarily that's what Camp Joy does. We help kids who are facing economic challenges or medical challenges come out in nature and learn about trees and fossils. So these apps help them to get a greater appreciation for nature and learn about trees and fossils. So we just need these apps to get updated to the most recent versions of iOS and Android.
So I know I just scrolled through. I saw Alex Argo's on the list. He worked this project the first time. The Fossolator one, we don't think the technology exists to update that one. That's from the very first GiveCamp. But the Identity one is, and I think Alex was going to work at some this weekend. So if other people want to help Alex out, contact Alex on that one. So you're muted, Gunnar. You're still muted, but you killed your picture instead.
All right, cool.
We got you now.
Hey, Alex.
All right. So you should have got all this information in an Eventbrite email. So this is the ways to connect this stuff. I saw a bunch of people already are in the Slack. It's the same Slack we've had before. There's a 2020 virtual GiveCamp channel. If you haven't joined it, there's a link here to join it. Like I said, you should also gotten this in your email from your Eventbrite registration for volunteers. We have a schedule, which I have in another couple slides, of the organizers that someone is assigned to monitor that tonight until 11 o'clock and tomorrow night until 8 is scheduled, and we said we'd figure it out after that based on how many tickets we have left and what's going on, who's going on there. But the idea is, if you need help with anything from organizer wise, questions on how things work, put it in something in that 2020 virtual GiveCamp chat, and that's where we'll be monitoring and trying to keep a hold of everyone since we're all dispersed separately. We're using Slack to collaborate. We tried out the video part of Slack earlier. It works fine. You can set up videos. As far as doing the projects and that sort of thing, some things are going to be a one-person project. Some things could be multiple people project if you collaborate on them. As far as who wants to do what and who wants to work together, I'm not sure we have a great plan on figuring that out. It's more of take a look at the cards and pick that and put your name on the card and reach out to the person in Slack that is also doing that project so you guys can figure out how to work together. We've never done this before. It's new this year. We're trying this out. We're kind of trying to be hands off and let the volunteers figure out how to work together because most of us have been doing this remote thing for a while. So Angie's going to go over the Trello board in a minute. The link is there. You should have also gotten that into email. One thing we do ask, just because we always like to keep the statistics of how much time we volunteer and things like that, as you work on tasks this weekend, please try to keep track of how long you work on them. And there's a little field in the Trello board to put the number of hours spent on that task. So that way we can get an estimate of how many hours we donated this weekend, even though it's a completely different GiveCamp. Normally we walk around the building and count how many people there at different times of the day. And that's how we figure out how many hours people are donating. But we can't do that this year, obviously. So what other things we have logistically, any of the other organizers want to share?
Yeah,
In the email you got from Eventbrite is a link that goes to an event page, and I will be updating the event page shortly after this. That will have a link to a video that we're recording now, and then I'm going to also add additional details. On that page now is also the link to the Trello board for you to invite, which is the same link you're seeing on the slide right now.
So anybody else? Because Angie, I know what you're going to ask, and we'll get there in a minute.
Yeah, I have something to add. If you're working with each other, try to use Slack to do any pairing or collaborating. But if you need access to some sort of a Zoom call or something like that, let me know. This is Burke is graciously letting us use my Zoom account for this weekend. So if you need a Zoom meeting set up, I can get you set up with that. We can get my room set up or put you in breakout rooms if we need to. So just contact me if you need that.
All right, anybody else? So before I switch off of this, before Angie takes over, I'll go over, here's the schedule. Matt and David DeLello is going to be monitoring tonight. Mike Theron's tomorrow morning. Jason and Andrew tomorrow afternoon. And Tim Lewis and I are tomorrow evening. Said we'll go beyond that if necessary, but at the time, looking at the cards and the number of volunteers, we said we may not need more time than that. So that's all we had planned out at this time. So we'll figure out how things are going to the weekend and let you guys know on Slack in that chat how things are going. We're not having any closing ceremonies or closing kickoff meeting or anything. We will, when we get that information as far as how many people volunteer hours and things like that, kind of put together a summary email from what we accomplished this weekend sort of thing and send it out to everybody so that everybody can see what we did over the weekend. So Angie, if you want to take over and do your Trello demo, that is fine.
My mute button disappeared when I started sharing my screen. All right, so I pulled up our Trello board. We have a lot going on here, so I'm just going to walk through it real quick. Hopefully this will be pretty straightforward for you guys. If you're unfamiliar with Trello, it's just a ticketing system we've got set up here where we have various cards with information about the tasks that we have out here. So I've got a sample card up here at the top to kind of talk about how we've built out our cards. There'll be a title at the top to tell you the overview of what the task is. We've labeled them with different skill sets so that you can find the things that you want to work on based on the skill sets you have or the things you want to work on this weekend. Details will be down here in the description. On the card, you should have a nonprofit contact name, their email address, and a phone number that you can reach them over the weekend for any questions that you have. In addition to the nonprofit name will be listed on there. And this is the field Eric was just talking about, total hours spent. We want you to type in here how much time you spent on it so that we can kind of keep track of that. If someone there, the group of us that went out and dug into the detail on these, we've all left our names on the cards. So after you pick a card up today, if you have questions about it, I suggest your first attack game plan is to go out and ask the person that did the digging with the nonprofit to clarify anything that we may have written down that doesn't make sense to you. But the things that we did write down are down here. There may be attachments to the file. We may have written tasks on the list of things to do, or there may be details down here in the activities. Down here in the activities, there's a lot going on if you leave it as is, but if you click on this hide details button, it'll shrink it up so there's not as much going on and you can just see what people type. So if you want to see everything, you can unhide it, or you can just look at what people are typing in. So this is where the notes are. What questions do you guys have?
I just want to add, when you pull a ticket, make sure to add yourself as a member to that ticket so people know you're working on it actively.
Right, so yeah, show them that, Angie. Pull that ticket over. I'll add myself to the card.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, why don't you go ahead and do it?
Oh, you want me to pull?
So
Okay. Okay, I'll pull the
Matt
card.
is going to pick up the sample card. So he'll drag it over to the in progress column.
And I'm going to add myself to the card.
And then when he goes in here, he'll click on members, and he found himself and added himself.
Yeah.
So that's how you can know who all's working on the same thing, and you can get a hold of each other so you can make sure you're working together. What other questions? All right.
I was also going to say it's the first time any of us have done it this way, as you know. So I'm sure there's going to be issues and things come up. So we'll figure out and solve problems as we get there, sort of thing. So, like, I'm just looking now and thinking, if Matt's doing it, his Slack username may not be the same as his actual name, so it could be hard to get a hold of people that way. It's something I just thought of now. So.
I've got a question.
Nice background.
Do you want to do like a channel per nonprofit or something like that in Slack to communicate around those, or do you have something in mind along those lines? Or
So we did not set it up that way this time. We've done it other years just because we didn't know how many people would actually be working on projects, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if that is necessary, yes, we can set that up without any problem for a certain project.
Yeah,
And I think so. Some of these probably have old channels from previous years also too. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Like this, you guys tell us what you need. We're here to facilitate you guys being able to do the work, and this is going to be very iterative and agile this weekend. So whatever you guys need from us, we're going to work on with you on it.
And all these nonprofits that they were within the last 5 years. That's who we reached out to, as the nonprofits from the previous 5 years, because projects that were older than that were too hard to upgrade. So, or had been falling too far out of date. Go ahead, Matt.
If you've ever been to a live GiveCamp, you know how chaotic it is right after we do our opening about teaming. When we form teams, we kind of have, like, you go to the nonprofit you heard that was the most interesting to you, or the technology was the most interesting, or you could help out. That's how I see this happening in the next hour or so. Pull the card you want and just pull it, right? And then somebody else is probably going to try to pull it. Both of you join the card. If you see the card going in progress as a card you wanted, join that card, right? And and we'll just see how it goes. If cards are pulled over that you think you can work just because you know the technology or you're interested in helping that nonprofit, just pull it and then put your name on it. And if you already see it in progress, put your name on it. And then once you see the names enter in the cards, then kind of go out in the Slack and try to find that person. They should be in Slack. So just like, does everybody know how to create a direct message, or, you guys know how to do, I hope everybody kind of knows how to use Slack. Not, then we can maybe do a Slack demo, but you can direct message people. You can at and put their name in and just add and say, hey, I kind of want to either help you with this, or maybe we can decide, what hours, and kind of self-form that way. And then once all that happens, what we usually do in real life is we kind of balance teams. So we're going to, after that all happens, we'll probably have to go back and see what cards are left that people didn't pull, and maybe start to ask questions like, hey, these cards need work. Is there anybody out there that knows somebody that could help? Or can you help? Once we see the cards that kind of get left over, just to, to kind of balance out stuff. But it's going to be chaotic in Trello. It was chaotic when we were in person. It's just, we were in person and we could kind of work the room. It's going to be kind of the same thing virtually, I think. Yeah.
Okay, Matt, I've got a question. This is Carmelia. So should I start, I've written all my content and have it in Microsoft Word. Is Trello the place to put that up there in to load it up? Or how is this supposed to go?
Yeah, I would just attach that, either attach the content to the card.
Okay.
Or if you want, just cut and paste the text out and put it in the description. It's up to you.
Well, I put it in Word, and I'm just going to attach it to the card based on whatever the label designation is on the website.
That sounds good.
The page.
Perfect.
I think that'll work well.
Thank you.
And I just saw Jason had posted something in the Zoom chat, which is important to point out, is that he says, I'm going to be available all weekend if anyone needs help. That's the case with most of us organizers. The schedule I had put up is, those were the times we were committed. That way, in case other people had other things going on throughout the weekend, that's the time we're going to be, that's the responsible party to make sure someone is assigned to every time slot. So.
And the reason I'm on Friday is because something came up for me tomorrow, so I'm not around. So that's why I'm taking tonight, but I'm not around tomorrow.
Hey, I have a question. The Trello board, is it public now? Because I just tried to click the link from Slack and I couldn't get to it.
Angie, you checking?
Invite link, right?
Should be, as long as you take the invite, when you click on that invite link, you're inviting yourself to it. And so that should get you to get in there. Is anybody else having trouble?
Yeah, I'm getting card not found. This card may be on a private board. If somebody gave you the link, they may need to invite you.
That's not the right link. The link is on the Eventbrite site. The link that's in the Slack is to a specific card. So
Gotcha.
if you go in to Eventbrite, yeah, and Angie could post it in there too. Yeah. Yeah, the emails you get from Eventbrite has a link that says view event. It's something that Eventbrite did, I think, because of COVID. It's called an online event. So this is the first time we're using it. So it's probably the first time a lot of people or Eventbrite's been doing it.
I deleted that card out of the Slack so it didn't cause more confusion.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm in there now. Thank you.
All right, we'll keep this open for a little while yet in case people have problems. I think is probably a good idea.
Yeah,
but
maybe
other than that,
open if
you
people
guys
see. I mean, go ahead and start pulling cards, and we could actually just keep this open if somebody wants to hop in here and mention it.
Yeah.
There, you know.
Jason?
I'm not sure. I think Eric said at the beginning, but thank you all for putting your time out there this weekend. This is a really, really different year for all of us in almost everything we're doing, whether it's work, social lives, GiveCamp. This is the group that I know has the ability to embrace this and take advantage of the tools here to get some stuff done. So thank you all for giving your time this weekend. And we are here to help you think of us as your Scrum Masters, removing barriers if you run into something don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you get stuck on something, you need help, put a message in Slack. We're going to be watching that. Other people will watch it too, and they'll offer to pair with you. So thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it.
Jason, you can start the music back up if you want. Maybe not quite as loud as last time.
Yeah, that's actually.
Finding appropriate playlists is more difficult than it seems. We have a Monday morning meeting at work, a whole company meeting. We started doing that since we've been working at home. And it's very stressful putting a playlist together that's not going to upset someone or have some kind of word in it that is not appropriate. It takes more effort than you would think, believe it or not.